Hello, everybody, and welcome out to episode 78 of the Pod of War Gamescast. I'm your host, EOF Gizmo, joined this week by Massive Dash, Chris Pengles.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, Mr. Xbox Live CW Lanky.
Hello.
Hi, boys. It's been literally weeks. I went on holiday. I came back from the holiday. I've lost the tan, and we haven't recorded a podcast, so apologies.
You've been reintroduced to the British summer, Dave.
Well, it's one of those, you sit
The
in
misery of it all.
31-degree heat ordering cafe con leches, and then you come back and it's pissing down, so... There we go.
Oh, yes, it is.
But thankfully, to warm my cockles will be Chris Pengles telling me about pointless stuff he spent money on. I hope you've got the calculator ready, Craig.
There's always a calculator ready.
There's always a calculator ready. But before we get to Pengles, let's start with everyone else. Craigo, what have you bought? What have you played this couple of weeks?
So bought nothing. Boys.
With a K, obviously.
Nothing with a K. In terms of played, I have finished Hogwarts now.
Well done.
Yeah. I think I ended up with about 30. I want to say about 35 hours.
Nice.
Which for like a big open world game, that's not bad, is it? It's quite sensible with your time, I feel. Actually, I think I did like it. Actually, there's an achievement for doing all the side quests, and it actually tracks achievements on this game, which is always good. I think I like 90% of the side quests as well. So I've done quite a bit of it, in fairness. So if you want, you want a good open world game that's not like 600 million hours long, then that's always a good thing, right?
Should really finish that, but it's on the list.
You should. You definitely should.
Did you get the good ending, the bad ending? What did you go for?
Good ending, I think. Good
Okay,
ending.
lovely.
I think there's only really one decision that you make at the end which decides that.
Yeah, there's a couple characters whose endings are different, I believe.
Yeah.
Without
So
spoiling
there's like the normal side quests, and then there's like 3 side quests that like kind of keep going on throughout this the game, and they're actually really good. They're probably better than the main quest, and honestly, like the story's much better in all of them. One of them is really dark as well, and it keeps getting darker and darker. And you're like, oh, this is like a different game. This is brilliant. So I definitely recommend doing those 3 kind of side quests. I think some of them you have to do to progress the story. But I don't know if you have to do all of it to progress the whole story. I feel like you don't. So I would make sure if you do nothing else that you do those 3 main side quests, and it is quite evident what they are. There's 3 pupils that you keep going back to over and over again. So yeah, definitely do that. But yeah, game's great. Just need to sell it now. Just remember to sell it before it goes down too much.
Yes, yeah, I would chuck that on eBay straight away.
Yeah,
get it gone so you can spend your time playing My Peppa Pig.
Exactly.
Oh, we'll get to you, Pengles. Don't you worry. We'll get to your shenanigans.
Other than that, I've kind of had a bit of a Dave week since then. A lot of dabbling, I'd say.
Oh, I do love a dabble.
I know you do, Dave. I started 2 racing games. I don't think I like either of them, to be honest with you, boys.
So that's Hot Wheels Unleashed and Need for Speed Unbound.
Yeah, I mean, Need for Speed I did first. Obviously, that came to EA Play on Game Pass. I have played the last 2 Need for Speed games that came to Game Pass, and I didn't like either of them. I thought the driving was pretty wank in both of them. And shock horror, boys, I think the driving's pretty wank in this one as well. I think I managed according to True Achievements, I managed 35 minutes of this. So I did the tutorial, maybe 1 or 2 races, and was like, nah, it's not good. It's just got these shitty drifting mechanics in these games, and you're like, this is crap. It's awful. Who thinks this is good? So I gave up on that quite quickly, and then I started Hot Wheels today. And God, have you played any of this, Dave?
Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
So I played the intro race, and where
it's like getting punched in the face over and over again, isn't it?
So the problem is like it tricks you, and you think, oh, I need to brake and drift, but in reality, you need to take your finger off the accelerator and guide around a corner. Like it feels like a Super Nintendo game. It's really strange, but it's not good at all.
No, it's really fucking hard. Like I play on medium, and I'm on like the 3rd race or something like that, and it is just brutal. Like it's it's hideous. Like it's like playing kind of Mario Kart, but without the charm.
Yeah.
You get the Mario Kart bullshit, but then actually Mario Kart's got this kind of built in, whereas actually if you do the racing really well, you do the drifting really well, then you will catch back up and like you'll eventually win. The best person normally does end up winning in Mario Kart throughout all the bullshit, right? Whereas this is just like you'll be doing quite well. You feel like you're doing your drifting good. You got your boosts going, and then there's the rubber banding of the AI, and then you just get punted off the track, and you're like, oh, that's me in last then. I guess I'll restart. It's just it's not great. It's not great at all. So I gave up on that quite quickly as well. So I still need a secondary racing game, boys. Don't know where I'm gonna get that from. Maybe I need to subscribe to like Ubisoft Plus or so. I get what's the fun one that they did?
Motorfest is
No,
coming.
The crew team. Riders
no,
Republic.
Riders Republic.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. Maybe that's the only hope because those two ain't it.
No.
Definitely. And I've been playing some indie games. So I played Adios, which was Games for Gold last month. Which I would say is an easy completion that you can do in an hour, and that is all you really need to like do on that game because it is not great. I am looking to see how much it is now. It's £15, boys.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
£15. Whatever you do, whatever you take from this podcast, anyone, do not spend £15 on this game. Fuck me. Or if you do, then you probably need to you probably need to go do something else instead. It's basically you play as a pig farmer who disposes bodies for the mob, and you decide you don't want to do that anymore. You tell the mob this, and then they send a guy, and you just kind of show around your farm for a bit and talk a lot. And if that sounds pretty bad, then I guess that's probably is what it is. Maka though does have a 45-minute video guide on how to just get the completions in 45 minutes. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, check out your boy Maka and let him just walk you through it in 45 minutes and be done with it. But that was completion number 53, I think.
I love that.
Yeah, 53. So that was that. That's uninstalled. That's forgotten about now. That's as an experience. And then the other two I've played, I started, I think last time we did the podcast, I talked about starting Elysia, I'm going to call it, which was leaving Game Pass. I did a really silly thing, boys, right? So I knew this was leaving Game Pass, and I wanted to play it before it left Game Pass. But I waited until literally the day before it left to start it. So I got halfway through, and then it's left Game Pass now.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh, I was really enjoying that. I kind of would have finished that. So I think I'm going to end up buying that. I think it's £12.49 at the moment. I was really hoping there's a big sale on Xbox at the moment on the Xbox store. I was really hoping it would be part of that sale, but of course it isn't, boys.
No, that and the Dirt 5 DLC, it will never ever go on sale. I check every sale, every single sale. I'm like, oh, is this the time? And then every time, Craig, it's not. And sadness takes over, and we carry on with the rest of our lives.
I will buy Elysia, or however you meant to call it, and go back to it because it's just a fun like platformy old school like 2D adventure game. I was quite enjoying it, but I started it way too late in the month. So yeah, I need to get back and buy that. And then the last one I played, which I started yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before, is, and I'm going to absolutely crucify this as well, Dorgone, I want to say it's called Dorgone.
Dorigo?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's French, Dave. So that's a red flag for you straight away.
If you're playing
and it's
French
an indie
games,
game,
Craig. French indie
Dave.
games. That's
and how I would describe this, boys, is Dave would absolutely despise everything about this, but Chris Pengeli would love it.
Yeah, it's one that I've had installed since it's come to Xbox, and I'm like, oh, I want to play that at some point, but just not got around to playing it.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it so far. It's like a point and click adventure game. It's got a really pretty art style. It's very kind of chill, very relaxed.
All I know is it's kind of an easy completion. You just got to make sure you take plenty of pictures. That's what someone told me.
I don't think it is particularly easy. I think there's quite a lot of collectibles and missables. Maka again has done a guide,
Mm.
but it's a full playthrough guide, and it's like 2.5 hours.
That is 2 hours too long.
So I didn't want to like just like my first playthrough to just be sat there watching Maka do the guide because you ain't gonna have like much fun playing the game that way. So I started it like blind and just doing a playthrough normally, and then I'm quite enjoying it so far, and I think there's 8 chapters, and I'm on chapter 6, so I'm not far away from the end. So I might actually end up doing a second playthrough and using Maka's guide to get the completion. But I don't think it's like if you weren't literally following a guide, Penguin, I don't think it would be particularly easy.
That's just what I heard. It's just like you got to make sure you take. And I think it's pictures like at certain times. So there might be like, oh,
Yeah.
you've missed that. A bit like a
There's
collectibles.
stickers, there's tapes, there's all
Yeah.
sorts you got to pick up there. Thank
Yeah.
you. So yeah,
I mean,
it
no, you
is-
love the collectible.
yeah. So, but I might go back and do it in fairness, because I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Like I said, I think it's probably going like 3 or 4 hours to finish it, like normally, and then like I said, if I've got a 2.5 hour Maka guide to follow to do a second playthrough, I might just do that just to get the completion. So like I say, I'm enjoying it. It's very, very pretty. So very chill. Story's quite good. But yeah, that's pretty much been it. It's been, like I said, a lot of indie games, and when I'm playing these indie games that don't have much gameplay to them, that's when you need the secondary racing game, because you want something with some gameplay, right? But the ones I played have been pretty wank. So yeah, still need the secondary racing game, and then I just keep plugging away on these indies at the moment. I think
So,
until I break and buy Star Wars.
If we're going to recommend the secondary racing game right now, Craig, I think the latest F1 game that's on EA Play has a story mode.
Yeah, maybe I
It's-
could go back to.
It's pretty good. Grid Legends.
Grid
is still
Legends,
knocking
I
around.
played. I did the story mode on that. It was very good. So I could go back to that in fairness.
And obviously, with the Activision deal, almost certainly going to go through Monday. I think you might get some Game Pass games next weekend. In which case, Crash Team Racing would be.
Yeah, that could be a
Would
good
be
shout.
the
In
answer.
fairness,
Obviously,
I'm pretty sure Bethesda, like all the Bethesda games, dropped.
It was
the old
3 days
ones.
later. They did a big drop of 20 games. So it should it. I mean, now there's a PlayStation Xbox agreement for COD that went on Twitter a couple hours ago. I would be very surprised if it doesn't go through now. So yeah, if it does go through Monday, maybe even by the end of the week, you could get that Crash Team Racing goodness to keep you going.
Yeah, that could work
until the end. But is that all you've bought and played, Crico?
Yeah, that's what I bought and played.
I'm excited. Obviously, the Switch didn't get turned on then. I presume.
Oh God, no! Don't be silly.
How sad. How sad. Well, we'll get to me before we get to the main event, which is Chris Pengeli talking at us for 2 hours. As for purchased, I bought, since the last podcast, Final Fantasy 16, which I will rant about shortly, but we'll get to that in a minute. And Like a Dragon Ishin, which was in the Prime sale. So I think I paid 40 for Final Fantasy and maybe 20 for Ishin. So don't mind that at all. As for played, obviously I've been on holiday with the boss, and we played some Overcooked on the flight, and then we had some drinking. We're getting pretty good at that game, actually, to be honest with you. Not that far from completing the main game, but we'll get that done, and then we'll probably move on to Overcooked 2. Maybe even moving out afterwards. Which
I was about to say, isn't there like a few of those sorts of games?
Yeah,
like
it's quite a popular genre now.
There's the two car mechanic ones as well in there now.
There is a car mechanic one coming. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, and then in unison with that, I've been playing Mario Kart again with the boss. We played the new tracks. Did also play some with Pengy and the boys. With mixed results, I'd say, Pengy, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But, me and you were trading up the rear for most of it. That's all you really need to know. But yeah, I really like the map pack this time. I think all the maps they've added have been pretty good. It's funny they've added PT Piranha and Wiggler and Kamek as well. And yeah, Mario Kart continues to be the best game ever made. So we'll just continue with that knowledge, Craig. And you really need to get off your high horse, Craig, and you need to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'll quite happly. To be honest with you,
you've just. Secondary racing
I was going to say,
you've
just been like, oh, secondary racing game. Well, get on it. Like, we can play it online.
Yeah, I do own it. Do you own the Switch?
You
turn it on and just play that.
You could play some Moo Moo Meadows.
It's an option.
Yeah.
And what else on the Switch? So I've been playing more Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That's been my game while I've been sat in a car watching my girlfriend play football. It's been mostly playing that. Love that game. Really think more people need to play it. Yeah, and it's just I think it's really underrated. It's very cheap. But yeah, really like Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. And that's it for Switch. I actually haven't played any Xbox the last couple of weeks, but I have been away. I have a little list of Xbox games I want to get to, which will probably happen post Final Fantasy. But yes, Final Fantasy 16, Pengy.
Yes.
So I think I'm about 10 hours in now.
Okay.
And it is very much starting to sour in a couple ways. So the story is quite interesting and is quite engaging, and the characters are relatively interesting, but the gameplay is so boring. Like, and I'm playing on action, I'm not playing on story, because I imagine that's what you played on.
No, I played on action.
Oh, so you did it. But
Is it like the difficulty? Like, is it like I've
it's
heard people
just
saying that
so
it's very
button mashy.
simple.
It's so button mashy, Craig. Like, so you get the odd bit of combos, but they're not. It's not very combo-y. It's more like different moves once you get more of the powers. But yeah, it's just kind of like it's just boring, really. Like it's just one of those. Like I'm like, oh, cool, cutscene. I want to see what's happening in the story, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to mash square to fight this giant monster and do really like chip damage to it, and then there'll be a quick time event, and then there'll be another quick time event, and then it's like, okay. Like I just don't think the combat's particularly interesting at all. The story is very interesting. I really want to know what happens. It's a bit frustrating that you know more as a viewer than the characters know. So like, there's a reveal early on that your main character is indeed the character you know him to be, but he doesn't know that, and you're like, why does he not know that? Like, why did you show me in a cutscene that the main character is clearly this thing that he's like hunting, which is him, and then it's revealed to him and he's like shocked, and you're like, well, they showed us that in the cutscene 2 hours ago, so. And then you've got like really well written characters like Benedica, who's like really interesting, has like a really interesting cutscene like about her backstory, and then she's just killed. Like there's just like, so, I mean, spoilers, but like she just dies. There's no, you don't get any resolution to her. You don't get any like character growth with her. She just is like, she fucks everything. She's got big tits, and then she's got daddy issues, but then she dies. Like she doesn't get, like, that character doesn't get any resolution because she's a woman. So why would she be allowed any sort of development? It's all about the handsome pretty boys, and it's like, okay, it's a Japanese RPG then, isn't it? There's not going to be any interesting character growth. But yeah, it's not a bad game, but like it's just not. I don't think it's very special in any way. Like I think it's probably better than 15, because I think 15 was a similar thing, but the gameplay wasn't quite as fun. But yeah, this isn't going to get in my top 10 Final Fantasy games for sure, and it's not going to get in my top 100 games. Like there's no way. I'll finish it because I've bought it. Is kind of how I feel about it, Craig. And I would like to know what the story goes. But yeah, not great.
Because what you're saying about Benedict, they do sort of do that with all the icon characters. So like the next one, you get a section of like them, and then you get a section of one. There's only really one that hangs around a bit longer than like the others.
Yeah, and that's a bit. I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity. Like I feel like they could have grown those characters and then built to the end. Like I get the Game of Thrones influence, so I get that's what they're going for, but I just don't think it's. I don't think it's particularly interesting. That's kind of my issue with it. But again, like we'll see where the story goes, see if it changes. But yes, that is me with Final Fantasy. But yes, Pengy, are you ready to let us
Yes.
know about the 6,000 games you've bought and how much they've cost you?
Okay.
Shoot.
So we go from Xbox. I've played nothing. With a K.
Okay.
But I bought a game. I bought also Like a Dragon Ishin.
Wow. On
How
Xbox.
much for?
I paid £20 for that.
£20.
Yes.
I think we were talking about you don't have a great record with Huge, do you, Pengy?
No.
3 for 0, we worked out?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't give you much hope, I'll be honest.
No.
I mean, if I was recommending one to you, both of you, it's Like a Dragon. It's on Game Pass. But you've both got for something different, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yes. Yeah. On Switch, I have played a bit of Mario Kart as well. Only really when the DLC came out that one night, the Genome and lads, and then I played it. Did the cups on my own like that after that evening. And that's all I've played on Switch. But I do have 2 pickups on Switch. After Dave has talked about it quite a bit, I picked up Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope for £20 as well.
Very good, Pengy. You should play it.
Mm-hmm. I should play it. And also, this one I paid ages ago for it. It only just arrived. But it come from Hong Kong, and that's a physical version of Ghost Trick for the Nintendo Switch.
Is this the remaster thing that they
Yes.
did recently? Yeah.
Yeah. So I picked that up. That was £34, which it makes it £4. No, not £4. £10 more expensive than it is digitally. But obviously, I have a physical copy, and I had to post it. It was £4 to get the postage from Hong Kong, which I think is really cheap.
So wait, does the
Postage.
£34 include the post?
That's including postage.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So if you want to take postage into account, otherwise,
Yeah, I feel like we should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play the original of this one?
I did not play originally on DS, and I know
Of Ghost Trick.
highly
Yeah,
regarded.
I played it, the original one. I thought it was fun. I think it's
Okay.
definitely worth playing on any of the platforms it's on. Probably in a sale because it's obviously digital here. But yeah, it's good. It's a good game from our friends at
So
Capcom.
you are going to play this one, Peggy? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Right. And then I also picked up / this is going in the played section. You might have seen some more content on the channel of the Evercade, and I picked up a bundle of 5 Evercade games.
So aren't all their games like bundles, or is it just
No,
5
an
separate
actual
bundles?
bundle of 5 cartridges. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The one cartridge has got like 20 games on it, and then one of them has got 2 games on, which you see on the channel. It's like the Xenocrisis and Tanglewood. It's only got 2 games on it, which are like brand new Mega Drive games. That was part of the bundle I picked up of these 5 Evercade games, and playing a bit of Evercade and stuff like that. That bundle of 5 games came to £60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're well over £100 already.
Yeah, and that is the pickups.
Okay, it's just £134, Davey, in
Just
what, 2 weeks?
£134 in 2 weeks from Pengy. Yes. Something else, isn't it?
Have you played much of these Evercade games, or is it?
Well, like I
it's
said, I
just-
played the Tanglewood and the Xenocrisis ones, which I did stuff on the channel, and I played about another half an hour of Xenocrisis. That's really good. And I did, because they have a monthly game, a bit like a Plus and stuff on Evercade. It's running from April to December of like an indie, and they added a new one this month, which I did a video of as well. Like, oh, here's the monthly Evercade game. It's like a new Game Boy game. Unfortunately, it's not Grimish's birthday. It's called Magic and Legend. Is it Legend and Magic? No, Magic and Night, something like that. Okay. Anyway, I did stuff on that, and I continued playing that, and it's only had like 2 more levels, so I played and finished that thing. So that's my first Evercade game I've finished thing, and it'll be interesting what next month.
You finished?
Game. Fun?
That's the first one you finished?
Yeah.
How long have you boys had your Evercades for?
I started mine like 6 months ago, Craig.
Okay. How
Yeah,
long
but
have you had yours? Pengles?
I don't know, 2-3 weeks now.
I thought you had the Evercade before that, surely.
Oh, the handheld one. Yeah, I played some things and finished things like.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I mean, on
I
this.
didn't realise.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean
that's
on
fine.
the Versus stuff like that. Sort of thing. So yeah, that's the Evercade. So that's my pickups.
So you're Mr. Evercade now.
Yeah, a bit of a Mr. Evercade. I do like it a lot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see what's gonna come to the Evercade possibly. Like we've got the Duke Nukem games coming, so that at some point, so that'd be cool.
I mean, if you play Duke Nukem on the 600 other ways, you can play Duke
I
Nukem.
I could, but there's all on one cart for like 15 quid.
Lovely. So what else have you played then, Pinky?
Right, so been playing a lot. I have no pickups for the PlayStation, but I've been playing a lot of PlayStation 5.
Oh, I hope you talk about all of the trash that you've been playing on PlayStation, Chris, because I have
Yep.
seen it on Twitter.
I'm going on order of what I played and how I've played and finished. So starting to Final Fantasy 16, which I finished since the last podcast. I don't know how many hours I was in last time. I ended up 43 hours on this. I did the main story and the main side quests, sort of thing. Like there's some side quests linked to trophies for like upgrading your potions and your infantry and all that, and getting a certain sword, which you can then upgrade and get a trophy even further. But I didn't do that. I did as far as I can. So yeah, I kind of agree with Dave weirdly with the combat. I think the combat is one of the weakest points of the game, especially seeing it's coming from the Devil May Cry combat director and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty simple, and I was playing on action as well, so I dread to think what the story thing. And I know someone that's already started it in New Game Plus and on the Final Fantasy mode, and apparently the difficulty is not huge that much, despite because you're still leveling up. Clive from thing, and the enemies leveled up, but you're leveling up, so still like quite same. It is like a basic Devil May Cry, which like maybe they're thinking like be a more broad audience. And again, it's like we're going for this like Western themed God of War, Game of Thrones like Final Fantasy to appeal to more people. So I think
It
that's
makes
why.
sense, I guess, because they don't want to go. They don't want to make it too much Devil May Cry, like because those games are bloody hard, right? And I imagine
And
your
then
Final
again,
Fantasy audience, who've been used to turn-based for years,
mm,
probably aren't going to appreciate that too much. Then you do
mm,
wonder, like, why didn't they just double down on it more and just make the game, but just don't call it Final Fantasy?
I
Like,
think
could they have done that? I don't know. It seems
it's
odd.
funny because
yeah,
the setting is very Final Fantasy. The
yeah,
characters are
that's
very
the
Final
thing.
Fantasy. The story is very Final Fantasy, but it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't just use the fighting system from Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was
Mm.
kind of the perfect best of both worlds combat, where it's kind of turn-based and kind of not. Like, it's a combat system where like you've never played a Final Fantasy, Craig, but you would have enjoyed it, to be honest, because it's really actiony and it's really
I'm
flashy.
a whoa, Dave. I'm a Crisis Core veteran here,
Well,
Dave.
like it's
Mm.
it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake is way more um detailed than that.
Mm.
Like,
I mean, I
You
know
can
so. I mean, that was pressing one
whereas
button pretty
this
much the whole
does
time.
feel like Crisis Core. Like it's similar to Crisis
Oh,
Core, where
oh,
you have some flashy moves that you can do, but in principle, all you're doing is mashing square. But to be honest with you, the biggest problem I think for
how
me,
long is this game?
well, if
well,
Pengles did it in 43, then I'd say probably the shortest you could do it is 35.
yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen people say about. I've seen like IGN they do like Instagram shorts or whatever, and they go to like how long the Final Fantasy, and one of them was like 27 hours, which I don't understand
I'll be
because
going for the speed run because I just want to get it done and sold. To be honest with you.
yeah, because like when I play Crisis Core, I liked it, but I remember saying on the podcast that I think it's like what 16, 18 hours long,
Yeah.
and I
now
felt like that was enough because it is quite basic. So yeah, like 40 hours of that would
mm,
be.
the only
Right.
thing is I say it's obviously 43 hours. I think they said, didn't they say it was like 11 hours of cutscenes and
It is
stuff?
incredibly cutscene heavy, and like
So if
most of
you
the fights devolve into
mm,
get to the cutscene, Craig. It's basically what you do. It's like you just mash your way to the cutscene, and then you have quick time events until it's over. I think the monster fighting is terrible as well. Like it's so boring and slow. Like you just don't
You
do
mean when
enough
you turn
damage.
into like the big like Godzilla
Yeah, like
things?
you have the
Yeah.
mm,
Godzilla fights, and you just like you dodge the 3 attack patterns, and then you just don't do any damage. Like it's really slow, and again, it devolves into a cutscene. Or worse, the first one you do in the intro is like a timed cutscene as well. Like if you don't do enough damage in a certain time, you fail the cutscene, you have to do it again. But it's like, yeah, it's a real mixed bag. I don't really understand why it's reviewed so well, to be honest. Like I don't, other than it being a PlayStation exclusive, because it isn't particularly it's not as good as God of War, for example, or
No.
Horizon. So I'm like, it's in like the story is interesting. Don't get me wrong, but it's very high fantasy. So it's like again, like you'd love it, Craig, because you like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones and stuff. Like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's it's a very strange game.
Yeah, but then I was going to say Final Fantasy 15 reviewed fairly well, and that was multi-format, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and
So
people
it's,
don't
it's like,
really people don't lovingly look back at 15, though, do they?
no, like people just like
They forget.
weirdly
15's
like,
only got an 81 though. I'm looking now, which I know is like good, but
Yeah, but
isn't
I think that's probably fair for 15, especially
isn't
15.
16 like
yeah.
90 nearly? It's
Yeah,
gonna be a
which I
lot of
don't
points.
get. Like 15 now, the
Yeah.
Royal Edition, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair because they've added quite a lot. But like 16, like I'm
But the story's so
yeah.
much better in 16 than 15's.
I mean, it is, but it's like I don't know. Like for me, story is
I
important, but it's just not. It shouldn't be the main thing.
Yeah, see, I think this is where we differ. To me, the story is that good, and I feel the story is the main thing in this game. And this is the combat system. The gameplay they've used to tell the story.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I prefer an equal measure of good story and good gameplay for a game like that's rated 90. That's all. And that's always been my issue. Like whenever we argue about The Last of Us, and I'm like, well, the gameplay's terrible. Like, sure, the story's good, but if I wanted the story, I'd watch the show. Like, I wouldn't play the game. Like, and ultimately, I spend my cold hard money on playing a video game, not on watching a TV show. But
Mm.
it's okay. It's not as bad. It's not a bad game. It's just not good, if that makes sense. Like it's not bad. It's okay. It's so aggressively okay. Like it's such a time sink. I sit here and I'm like just playing it to get through the cutscenes. I'm not like, oh yeah, I can't wait to do this next section of the game. Like I'm sat here and I'm like, you know what? Like so like last night I was sat here, my girlfriend's on TikTok and I was playing games and I was like, you know what? This is actually boring as fuck. I'm gonna turn on my Switch and play some Mario Kart because what's the point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, if I just want to play a video game for half an hour, then it's never going to be the game I choose. But yeah, I'm interested to see if Ishin is different because the combat system in Yakuza is mental. So I think that might be a con. I do have other games in my backlog that I will talk about when we get to it, of course. But yeah, so any of you played anything else, Pinky? Since
Yes.
I know you've played hundreds of games, so come on, let's get to game number 2.
So
We're only
Final Fantasy
33 minutes into the podcast, Pinky.
So 16 was finished. I think I got like 47% of the trophies, no platinum, because I wasn't going to do the new game plus and some of the stupid hunt boards and all that.
Oh,
so.
you know what this means, Craig.
So next after that, next game I played, which is part of the top tier of PlayStation Plus, as it's a classic game, and it is a classic. It's Killzone Liberation from the PSP, now on PS4 and PS5.
Okay, it's an actual video game, a PSP game.
Yep.
That's what 10 hours.
About 11 hours. This one I just played naturally, sort of thing. I enjoyed it when I played it originally on PSP. Weirdly, I think I didn't finish it on PSP, or I did, but I never downloaded Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is the one that has the credits and how it ends, leads up to Killzone 2, which is in this. But then none of the trophies have anything to do with Chapter 5. The last trophy for the story is for Chapter 4, which makes no sense, but that was what was on the UMD originally. Very weird. So I played it naturally, and I had like 85% of the trophies or something, and I was missing like 3. So I ended up getting the platinum in Killzone Liberation from the PSP.
Nice.
It's a fun time actually.
Yeah, that one's on my is on the backlog to play for platinum. But again, like I
This
don't
is
have
also
time.
going off topic, sort of thing. This is one of the games I played this month of my sort of PlayStation madness. That the PlayStation Q might have got a look in if I had one of them. Because obviously originally being a PSP game and stuff like that, playing it how it sort of originally was.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be buying that, Chris, and I can't wait for your review of it. But we'll move on to the next game for now.
So after that was Harmony Fall of Reverie, which was a former Switch time exclusive. I feel it was a time exclusive for about 2 days, sort of thing, because it came to everything like else really quickly.
Like visual novel one that they showed
This,
at the
yeah,
direct.
Yeah.
Oh god, I remember this. I remember thinking this looked terrible.
Yeah, so it was timed sort of exclusive on Switch. It reviewed very well, the Switch version, the sort of thing. It came to PlayStation, it came to Xbox, came obviously to PC. I think it might have already been. I have no idea how much it was on PC, but the PlayStation version was the cheapest of like the Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. So got it on PlayStation.
Wait, so you bought another game?
Oh yeah, I bought it. I bought how many
So the pickups ended
yeah,
about half an
don't you
hour ago,
worry.
Dave. Yeah, we're still adding
Digital
games.
doesn't count for Chris Pengele. No. Money's only spent if you do it physically.
How
No.
much was this one then,
Why would you
Pengy?
add the digitals?
This is 1997. I
We'll
think.
round that up to £20.
1997. Fucking hell,
Yeah.
Pengy. So you're on 160 pounds.
£154 on that,
154
Dave.
pounds. That's not bad.
Okay,
For,
he did
it's not bad for
sneak
2
that in
weeks.
there, doesn't he? Just,
They-
I played this digital Game Boys. Don't worry how I acquired this
Do you
game. I
think,
just played
Craig?
it.
Do you
He's
realise?
like
Do you realise
moving the
this? He's
fucking...
never ever mentioned this before. Do you reckon that we've missed thousands of pounds worth of digital games? He's never mentioned
100% we have.
because he doesn't count them as actual things. Because if you buy much more, mate, you could have just gone on holiday with me because that's pretty much what we paid to go on holiday.
Yeah, you forget the net spend. I sold Final
Don't
Fantasy
net spend.
16.
I know
no
you're a
one
Man
does this,
City
yeah.
fan, so you got to be all net spend all the time. But
I sold Final
actually, I
Fantasy
love
16,
the United Arab Emirates. They're one of my favourite countries to visit on holiday.
and I sold.
Going back to the game though, Pengy, did you enjoy whatever the hell we're talking about?
No, it was pretty awful.
But did you get
Yeah,
the
I thought it
platinum
was.
slash?
I did not get the platinum
Okay.
either.
Wow.
Did you
This
finish
is
it,
from-
or did you give
Yeah,
up?
I finished it.
Oh, how long
um,
was it? Like an hour long, was it?
No, it's pretty long as well. It's like a
Oh
good,
god.
I want to say nearly 10 hours, maybe even
Oh.
longer than that. I could look on True
You break my heart,
Trophies
Pengy.
or something.
So you spent 10 hours playing a game you absolutely detest
Yeah, it's one of the
that you spent
on my
£20 on.
on like the 30 odd games I've finished this year. I've put it in like nearly dead last.
Wow.
Wow.
That is a ringing endorsement.
It's obviously it's a visual novel. It has some good qualities, like the voice acting is really good. So that's it, and the art is great, especially the cutscenes and stuff like that. But the story I just think is really lacking. And then the game has all these choices, and you're helping different like aspirations. They're called. So like you have bliss, you have chaos, and stuff like that. You help them, and you make decisions, and you get like it's called ingredients or something like that, and you get things. But you do all these, and then at the end of a chapter, you just get like two choices based on which one you. So like I could have sided all the way with bliss, for instance, but the last choice at the end is bliss and truth or something. I'm like, well, I didn't even care about truth. So I played it for 7 hours and 43 minutes.
Wow.
But yeah,
Sounds
on
like
Switch,
7 hours too long. Thank you.
on Switch, like I said, it reviewed really, really well. It was like in the top 12 on Open Critic and stuff like that. Then since it's come to PlayStation and Xbox, like the reviews have dropped. Like
The same people have played it and
Right.
gone, "Fuck me, this is dreadful."
Easy Allies gave it a 6, for instance, and they do it out of 10 and stuff like that. Yeah, so the only like good aspects I would say is the voice acting and the art. It's a visual novel. The strongest point should be the story in a visual novel, which isn't good. And then the choices and stuff until the really to the end feel really arbitrary. And then the choices I made, at the end because the game's got 5 chapters, or it's actually acts. Sorry. I was locked out and I had to sign this one aspiration, which I only just met the chapter before. I've had like no interactors with them because some of the choices I've made. It's like, well, I've made all these choices now, but I can't make these choices now, sort of thing. Yeah, it's not good. Like one of the chapters, I think it's chapter 4 or something, is fairly decent. It's like the best one of it, but I would say avoid. And it's kind of put me weirdly off Don't Nod, which has sort of thing because I've played a couple of their games of things. Like obviously that they did Life is Strange. Life is Strange is brilliant, but I think Life is Strange 2, which they did, is the weakest Life is Strange title. Tell me
Did
why.
they do
Tell me
True
why was
Colors?
no. That was Deck
No.
9.
No, I like that one. Okay.
Deck 9 did Before the Storm and True Colors. But Don't Nod did the first one and the second one. I think the second one's the weakest one. Tell me why was good that they did, but Twin Mirror was awful. Like I bought that digitally as well from Donod, and that was like 25 quid, and that was awful. That was mostly worse than this. This is pretty bad as well. I know, like, I never played Vampire. I know most people didn't like it, apart from Pete. Didn't Pete really like Vampire, if I
I
remember
think you
that?
did. Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, he's like mostly the only person in the world that liked that game. Sort
But
of
what
thing.
was
And then
next,
obviously,
Pengy? Because obviously we're on 40 minutes now, and you've not even got to half of the crap you've played.
yep. But on Don't Nod, they have 2 games coming.
Well, we
Still
can
this
talk
year.
about the Don't Nod games, Chris, when we get to them. I don't want to rush you,
Okay.
but we are on
Mm.
40 minutes, Pengy. So next game.
Light in the Darkness.
Never heard of that. What was that on? Did you buy that as
Uh,
well? Or are you sneaking that
no,
free?
this was free.
Wow, the
They
best
gave
price.
it away for free. Does that mean it
Yeah,
was
they actually gave it
good,
away on
bad,
free
indifferent?
on purpose because it's exploring the history of a Jewish family during Nazi-occupied France. So
Well,
they
that sounds
gave it away
cheerful.
for free as like a educational sort of title. It's from Luc Bernard that made I only came to notice this game because he made a load of games that were on the Vita, and it's like brought up via like the Vita community, but it's not on Vita. It's on PS5 and PS4. I saw it's free and it's an easy platinum, but it does its job. It does has archive footage and like documents and stuff like that during that time period and that all sort of thing.
Did you feel like you learned something, Pengles?
I do feel I learned
Okay,
stuff
that's
from
good.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
happy for that. At least.
Yeah, so this is higher than even though it's mostly a worse video game than Harmony, it actually did what it was meant to do.
How long was it?
It's only an hour as well.
Ah, you go. You spend an hour. You're basically just watching a little documentary for an hour and getting a little platinum for it, aren't you? I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
It didn't cost you anything.
exactly. So that's 2 platinums, right? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the next one, like I was having withdrawal symptoms. I had to play a Square Enix game, so I started Valkyrie Elysium.
Which you bought ages ago, didn't you? So we
I
won't
bought
include that in
ages.
this shenanigans, yeah.
I bought that Asia, but I think I bought it. I bought it on launch.
I
Free.
thought this looked particularly bad whenever this was launched and then went straight into just non-existence. Was it as bad as I think it is, Pengles?
Necessarily not as bad as you think it is, but the problem I got with it, I've played it after Final Fantasy 16,
Right.
and it has a similar real-time combat system, which isn't as good. And Final Fantasy 16
Cool,
is
we
not
weren't
great.
begging that up just a minute ago, so if it's worse than that, then you're not selling it to me so far, but
Yeah.
carry on.
Yeah. Like the world and that feels a bit empty, but then that kind of makes sense with the story and stuff like that. Like the art's not fantastic. It feels a bit, and it is like Norse-ish mythology, like your Valkyrie has Odin and all that sort of thing. It feels a bit like someone's made a Final Fantasy game, but they've been given no budget to make a Final Fantasy game.
That doesn't sound like Square Enix, Pengles. That's blasphemy.
Yeah. But anyway,
I bet they were shocked that it probably didn't sell like fucking anything even, right?
Yeah, and plus it's not like the original Valkyrie games as well, which were, I believe, were turn-based and stuff like that, or something like that. And obviously this is real-time combat, which Dave loves in his Square Enix RPGs.
Boys, I need to stop the podcast to make this horrific announcement.
What?
Major Nelson is leaving Xbox after 20 years.
Yeah.
That was nice, like yesterday, yeah.
That's really sad.
Oh no,
Mm.
Uncle Larry, Dave. He's gone.
Mm.
He's
Yeah,
gone.
we're so old, by the way, that he's worked for 20 years.
I know, right? I know. That doesn't. I feel like he's not aged like much in those 20 years, though.
He's still a handsome man. But yeah, Pengy, what next? What next? You play Valkyrie Elysium,
Which was surprisingly
like
quite. Which was actually
move on.
quite. I finished the main game, but it had an It came out like in September, and they had a free update in like December. And it has like a time attack survival-y type mode, which has only got a bronze trophy. It's one of those free like DLC trophy. Like 0.4% have got it. I had a go at it. I did not do very well because you can't die. But they added a story bit as well. So I played and finished the story bit where you play as a different Valkyrie as well. So I've actually played like this game for like 17 hours in total. Between the main story and the little DLC story as well.
So far, what I'm getting from these 2 weeks, Peng, is you spent a lot of money and spent a lot of time playing games that weren't very good.
No, Final Fantasy 16 is
Other
amazing.
than, other than your Final Fantasy 16.
And
Yeah.
Killzone was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this evening, I played and finished and got another platinum, Craig. So this is 3 platinums.
Yep.
I played My Friend Peppa Pig.
Is this the one that was on Game Pass?
Yeah, it was added to Plus in June. It's an hour long, and there's a platinum trophy for it, and it's all gold trophies as well.
So I presume that's
See,
your
I've
game
not
of the year,
done
then,
this.
Pengy.
I've not done this on Game Pass because I really don't want to learn myself quite to that. But
To be
obviously,
honest
you
with
have
you,
no shame.
if
I got no.
you get to a point in your life as a 33-year-old man where you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to play My Friend Peppa Pig for a platinum trophy, then perhaps you need to get a mirror and have a cold hard look in it. Because what's next, Pengy? Paw Patrol Grand
That's
Prix? Is that what you're doing tonight, or
no.
My Little
Weirdly,
Pony, Revenge of the Pony? I don't know. I've never watched My Little
that's
Pony,
next
but
month.
like, oh yeah,
That's next month. Eh?
you've probably
I feel
got.
like you should have at least have streamed this, Pengles, to like try and justify it to
You could have
yourself
done
in
it for
some way.
content, Pengy. You could have streamed
Yeah.
yourself playing My Peppa Pig
Okay,
live.
maybe I
Yeah.
stream Peppa.
Next time, when you inevitably play some other shoddy, shameful platinum, you could at least stream the 12 minutes you've played.
Yeah, see, so I don't know if this is a better platinum than like Chicken in the Road because it is an hour long, but then it's Peppa Pig.
I mean, it's better in that it's an actual game, but I mean, you're going to sit here and tell me that all platinums are the same.
The
When
all
I
platinum
spend
souls.
47 hours getting every collectible in Horizon Zero Dawn, you're like, I played Peppa Pig and I loved it. I was Daddy Pig. He was my favourite. Like, come on, Piggy.
No, you only play Peppa's new friend.
There's only one
the voice
character.
of
What
Peppa
joke?
Pig is actually like it's hideous as well.
Right.
So did you have to listen to that during this game?
Yes.
Oh
you have
my
to-
god.
And you can't skip like the cutscene sort of bits either.
Oh my god.
So you get to the train ride
You're
in the
on a list
museum.
now, Pengles. You are on a list.
If
Weirdly,
I get an email with
I'm
your
not-
I
name
know
on
how
it,
many
Pengy,
schools there
tomorrow
are in
at work,
Wellington, but I wouldn't go anywhere near them.
right?
Chris.
Weirdly, this game was actually brought to my attention due to true trophies. It
Why
was
are
one
you
of the
saying it
news
like it's some
things
sort of avant-garde game that's like it's been brought to your attention, Chris? It's a fucking Peppa Pig game they added to PS Plus. You
that it was
can't
added to
sugarcoat.
place.
It's your
That
game
it's
of the
been
year.
added.
You spent
You
20
got that
quid
this
on a
year.
game you played for 10 hours that you hated, but don't worry because you played My Friend Peppa Pig for an hour. That's on your account
No,
forever, you know that, right? Like your account
Yeah.
will always show game of the
Yeah.
year, My Friend Peppa Pig.
Yes. No, but I was gonna say it's like it rose up in the like played charts and stuff like that on PSN.
Well, there's lots of scumbags like you, Pengy, that will play the quick platinums. That's why.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
will
So is
you
this
get?
above or below Harmony of Revenue, or whatever the hell it's called?
Oh, definitely above. Didn't cost
I
any
would
money.
say-
It was only an hour long.
I would say above.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for your review of Paw Patrol Grand Prix next week, Pengy. I'm so excited.
Oh my god.
That's on Game
Yeah.
Pass as well. You wouldn't even have to buy that.
It's
You'd
on
buy
Plus
it,
as
Dave.
well.
There you
You'd
go.
have to buy it, even play it on Game Pass. Fucking hell, I wouldn't
But
do that to himself.
$34.99
there's-
physical.
There is a Paw Patrol one plus it was added.
I'll tell you what,
Is
I've been
that-
waiting for Garfield's Lasagna Party to go on sale, Pengy. So when it does, I'll let you know.
Yes.
Is that it, Pengles? Have you played any other trash?
No, that's it.
49
God.
minutes. Chris
And
Pengy.
£154 later.
£154. A Peppa Pig Platinum.
Some shitty.
This is
Don't
why
Love
we don't.
game.
This is what happens when we don't record for a week. He loses his fucking mind. There's no one reining him in. He's there like, I'll tell you what. The boys aren't around. I might play some Peppa Pig tonight. Put a candle on.
Yes.
Just me,
Why
Peppa.
shouldn't I?
Why shouldn't I play Peppa Pig?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't double dipped and got the Xbox 1000 as well, Pengy.
Well, actually, I played the
There we go.
PS5 version of Peppa Pig.
Oh, you're going to play
I
the
killed-
PS4 version of Peppa Pig now as well for the double platinum. Oh, I love that.
Mhm. I could double platinum here.
You should be banned from video games. And
What-
schools as well, to be honest with you.
I could double platinum Killzone as well, but that's like 11
Yeah, that's
hours.
10 hours. You enjoyed that. You can't be doing that again. 1 hour Peppa Pig. Oh, hell yeah.
God.
Anyway,
But
back on. Let's get back on track here. Let's get to the last section of the show, which is, of course, yet again more shaming of Pengles. So we're going to switch to the Fantasy Critic rankings so far for the 2023 league, and it's not good viewing for you, Pengy. It is not good viewing for you at all. So let's have a little
No,
catch
the
up.
numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie, Penguin. It spells disaster for you at Sacrifice. So
It does.
currently sat in third place, which is last. You are the main loser. Is Chris Fengeli with 49.78 points.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realise you hadn't even got to 50 points yet.
Well, it
not
Pengules.
even-
says
That's just
50
sad.
can on the bottom. It does say 50 on the
Oh
bottom.
yeah,
Okay,
it runs
well-
up. It doesn't do decimals. So yeah,
Mm,
okay. So
yeah.
Yes,
we'll give you 50.
We're going on actual points here at the top.
Okay.
Currently in second place with a more than double than that, 128.71 points, is Craig. And of course, well out in front, your boy, one-time Fantasy Critic winner. That's me. 139 points, 56. So, what is there any hope for Pengy? I think let's have a look. What's coming up for Pengy? He's made some absolutely baffling decisions this year. Yeah. What's the thought process, Pengy? Is there any hope?
Can you get to triple figures, Pengles? This is
Can
what
you
we're...
get to 100 points, Pengy?
I don't know. It's gonna be hard because I don't think Silk Song's gonna. This is why it left me myself.
That game's gonna fuck you over like
Yeah.
it did for me 2 years in a row. There's no more
The
karma
worst
you
thing
need
is
than
one
that,
of you
is
will
there?
pick it next year as well.
Oh yeah, I mean that's inevitable. Though.
It's why I left myself with $1. So because if it does go, my problem is it's mostly going to be like dated at the Game Awards or something in December, and I'm like, great, I can drop it. It's now December. There's nothing to pick. But it's why I left myself with $1, so I can pick up a replacement for that. Rift and Necro Dancer. It was in like the last indie showcase thing, and then like 2 days later, like Studios in Chaos or something. So that ain't coming out, I don't think. So that's 0 points. So that could be 2 0 points. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who raised his name, will be points though. But I think Ishin only got 11, and this is shorter than Ishin from what I know, because it's like a spin-offy in-betweeny game between Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite. So maybe like 10 points or something.
It's just solid. It's not. I don't think it would get you less than 10 points, Peng. I think you can be safe with that. I think you might. That might get you to 60 at least. Yeah.
Sea of Stars. I think this is going to be really, very well. I played the demo. I was not a huge fan of it, but people love like SNES inspired JRPGs. So I can see this being like a 80-ish or something. So that's 70 points. Mina the Hollow Earth's not coming out this year, even though they said 2023. That's not coming out this year.
I just realised you've done something really stupid, Pengles.
What?
You've left yourself with with $1.
Yeah.
When you could have like 3 games that you could drop.
I could Rift of Necro Dancers. No, I can only drop 2: Silk Song and Necro Dancer.
What about Mina the Hollow? You could drop that, can you?
Oh yeah, I could drop that. Yeah. But that's the thing: if they all get dated, if they all get won't release, but they're not all gonna end up with that, are they?
No, that's true. But...
I
kind of hope they do now. Just to
yeah, I'll be like, I can drop
put
this
some
game.
salt in them.
I can drop this game and not buy anything.
Yeah.
I'd be like Brandon Jones in the EDC Allies one. Silent Hill 2 is not coming out, is it? So that's going to be 0 points.
And I've counterpicked that, Davey.
All right.
So on like 70, our history of Untold wasn't like the Xbox showcase, but neither is Age of Empires 4. I remember for console, and it wasn't in the thing.
That is such a weird pickup, Pengles. I don't know what made you pump for that one.
Xbox, PC, Game Pass, give money, make the game good.
Yeah, I don't think that studio's got like much of a track record.
They've made 2 games. One was like a 70, and then like one was like an 80 something. So
okay,
I'm thinking maybe the 77 if it comes. So 77 points.
Okay,
but Cocoon
it's an interesting choice.
Cocoon has got a date. It's coming September, and it was the indie. It was the indie of the show at the Summer Game Fest. It won best indie from judges and stuff like that. I'm very hopeful with this. But then I remember Somerville did not review very well last year, which was from a bunch of ex-Playdate people.
It's something you've got. I've kind of learned to avoid this year. Is the indie studios do this now? They're like, right, from the people who worked on X Game and X Game,
Mm.
and you're like, you start to wonder, well, what were they doing at X Game? Were they cleaning the toilets? Were they what was going on
Right,
there?
they were in charge of boot physics, which is what was Game of the Year.
That used to be the thing with Bioshock all the time, and it's it's like from someone that worked on Bioshock, it's like, how many people worked on this game? And this is like the 97th. Yeah, but this is from like 2 heads or something from Playdead thing, and it's very positive from some of the Game Fest people that went to hand on it. So I'm hoping in like an 80 odd for it.
Okay.
So that's 87.
Yeah.
Stray Gods musical RPG. I'm really excited for this. This is why I picked it, because I want to play it myself. It's been announced for consoles as well. I know
It's coming to Game Pass.
I don't think it is coming to Game Pass, which is weird because it's from Humble, and all their games seem to come to Game Pass, but it's not been announced for Game Pass when it was announced for consoles. Sort of thing. I think this is because I know you saw the trailer. I think of it, Craig, in something, and you thought it looked awful.
Yes.
But I think this is going to review very well because it's different. The voice cast obviously is fantastic.
Oh, Pengles.
And obviously, no, but it is. People have been like, "What musical video game? We don't get them." Instant 7 or 8. Add in Laura Bailey and Troy Baker and Gina, whatever her name is, that was in Star Wars and stuff like that. Bump it up. I can see this doing very well. Then what we do very well, based on my similar logic, is Arbor Core 6 because it's from software.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see
I'm
that
thinking
getting some points.
I'm thinking this high 80s, may even push the 90 mark.
Well, I think you're being very ambitious there, but okay.
I think lots of hands-on things very good, and I think the From Software rub will think. Let's say 89. Let's not go 90.
We'll see. There's been a lot of good games this year, though, so that will be
Yeah.
slowing that review process down.
But that's 96, and then I got Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which will easily be 90. So
Yeah.
maybe even over 90. But let's say 20 points. So
still 2D Mario, so I still don't think it will ever breach 90.
So there's 117, I reckon.
Which will get you to nowhere near Craig right now. Yeah, so I think you're done. You will get the first pick next year.
Yeah, some very bad choices in there, Pengles.
Yeah, so
Final Fantasy Rebirth next year. Woo!
You've gone very indie, and I think that has shot you in the dick, to be honest, Pengy. But the real competition with the Fantasy Career goes down to me and Craig. And if I'm honest with you, Craig, I think it comes down to Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I've done all my maths. I've counterpicked it, and you've picked it. So if that game comes out and does 90, I think that is going to be the legitimate difference between our scores. Because we've got some very similar scoring games you would assume left. With Spider-Man for me in particular. And then you've got very clever picks. Your Persona 5 Tacticas, your SteamWorld builds. Starfield I think will still review well. It's not going to review any higher than 85 because the PlayStation bias, but I think it will still get 85. Same with Forza. So I think it will be
also will review higher than Starfield.
Yeah, it will be a close run, and I mean I've got Pikmin coming soon. If Assassin's Creed shits the bed, or Helldivers doesn't come out, then I think I could be in a little trouble. But I honestly think everything that me and you have got left is solid. So it really will come down to Alan Wake 2's review, I think, personally.
Yeah, the projected is very close for us at the moment. It's like it's got me winning by
It's got you winning by what I think will be the flip.
17,
because I think Alan Wake will get at least 90. So I think
I think like mid-80s personally.
Everyone's really bumming it in previews.
Yeah, the previews have been like really positive. So yeah, I mean, counterpicking that might turn out to be your undoing. I think I've got more games coming as well. Looking at it,
yes, I've already had 14
because
games
it's also
come out.
It's still thinking Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, which obviously
is
won't.
not.
So I guess but it is 15.
But it is counterpick, so I can't do anything with it.
Yeah. So I guess you might run out of steam, and that's where I could like pick up some points. I've still got some stuff which don't have dates as well. The Talos Principle 2 doesn't have a date, but they did when they announced
Yeah, and I
it.
don't think Steam World
Summer Games
Build has a
Fest.
date, but
No.
that playable demo's been out for so long and is so good that I'll be surprised if that game isn't pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's quite an extensive demo as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be very. I
It's
think it's gonna be
Alan
very
Wake
close
and
between me and
Starfield,
you.
I think, is probably the two things. If Starfield it is Redfall, then you're in deep trouble, but I don't think it will be. But Alan
No, I
Wake,
don't think it
I
is.
think Alan
I
Wake
think
2 is going to do really
Starfield
well.
is going to be 86, 7
I
or
can't
something.
believe Redfall got 57, by the way.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, and it still might not. Yeah, so because I thought that was gonna like cost me the whole thing, Redfall, but I still think because the Alan Wake counter pick, it's gonna like counteract that.
Yeah,
Because all Alan Wake needs to do is get 81, and it counteracts Redfall.
yeah. And plus, like
And I think it would do better than
this
that.
could be
So.
the final time all three of us get a win, which means next year's is the decider.
Yeah,
If that is the
it would
case.
also mean if I actually do win it, I wouldn't go second for the first time.
No.
I've got second all 3 years.
Yeah, that's
nice.
true. You've been the bridesmaid, but you've very rarely been a bride.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But yeah, it's just very close. Yeah, me and you very close. Pengles must do better. It's basically where
Yeah,
we are, right?
Pengles has got a solid F. Probably
Yeah.
needs to play less Peppa Pig games and perhaps research the games for next year.
I have. I
mean,
did
it is a
do
dreadful
research.
list, Chris.
You did
Like
too much resource. That's what you
yeah,
did. Research.
you've
Thing.
got in
You
your own head
overthought
here.
it too much.
Yeah, you've gone.
You had
indie games.
spreadsheets.
Yeah,
You had.
it's not good.
I mean, you took Fire Emblem Engage ahead of Spider-Man 2, Forza Motorsport, Final Fantasy
Well, I
Pengles.
didn't think Spider-Man 2 mainly. I don't know. It's
like,
still 81 for Engage.
I
That's
mean,
pretty.
you
yeah,
didn't
but
take
for the
Street Fighter
fourth
6 or
overall
Tears of the
pick,
Kingdom,
Pengles.
Pengy.
Mm,
You
I
went
know.
and you took Silk Song, which we knew wasn't going to come out, and Fire Emblem Engage, which looked
No,
average.
I believed in Phil Spencer. I believed in Phil Spencer. All these games are coming out before in the next 12 months.
I don't think you did, but okay.
I did. I believed in Phil.
Oh, Pengy. Anyway, that ends the hour-long Pengles catch-up. 1 hour and 2 minutes, Pengy. I'd love to know the percentage of you talking compared to everyone else, but we'll get the statisticians on that. But yes, thank you for watching. If you got this far, please comment the word pepper to let us know you got this far. If you like the show, drop a like, drop a subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And we will see you for next week's episode of Pengles Madness.
Bye.